Hello and good evening to you. Welcome to News 360 and it's live Money News Hub here at Desawa in Kanda. My name is Alfred Okansi.
And I'm Natalie for to look at the top stories this evening.
360 Headlines is brought to you by Deluxe Paint, Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Spray,
Premier Health Insurance.
Legon student drowns at Cape Coast.
And workers of Consolidated Bank of Ghana Limited petition ICU Union for redundancy packages.
Also ahead this evening, government to recover liquidity support given to collapsed banks.
And Mali's President Ibrahim Keita wins Sunday's heavily disputed run of elections.
Stay with us here on News 360. We bring you the details of these stories and some more news. As always, our bulletin is streaming live all across the world on 3news.com and TV3 Ghana on Facebook. Now, very first story this evening, some 300 workers of the Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited have petitioned the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union to negotiate on their behalf for their redundancy packages. General Secretary of the ICU Workers Union, that is Solomon Kote, said negotiations will begin at the end of this month.
Management of Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited has put workers to the bank on a 60-day probationary period. After this, those who will qualify will receive full employment from the managers of the bank. The workers who have sensed danger have petitioned the leadership of Industrial and Commercial Workers Union to lead them in negotiations. The negotiations are expected to begin at the end of this month. General Secretary of ICU Solomon Kote pledged to negotiate good packages for the workers.
For now, I should have got individuals who have signed on from the Royal Bank, the Construction Bank, the Unibank, the two other banks that were also part of it. The individuals have come. We have over 300 members who are still filling the forms now. So our letter had also gone to the receiver. We have told him about what we represent, and they've also welcomed us. So by next week, we are sending the consolidated numbers that we have to them, and then we'll take the discussions from there.
However, some experts have argued that other unions have failed to negotiate for workers of Capital and UT banks. They again argued that those workers have been given a raw deal and up to now have not received any package. The ICU urged workers of both banks to push further for their packages.
UT and the Capital, there was nothing like even time frame for which payments are supposed to be made. That is over a year now. The people have not been paid. Okay, in all ICU memorandum of understanding negotiations, we always have an article that talks about mode of payment, whether we are going to pay in installment or we are going to pay outright, and if it's installment without even attract interest, even what will be the lump sum to be paid. This particular one, we will go with that hindsight.
As part of the negotiations for the workers of Consolidated Bank, workers of Construction Bank are not included in the redundancy arrangement. Solomon Kote explained that some of them had already been paid.
Construction Bank, from what you've heard, is just a year old. It's the youngest among the five. And it is having a membership which is about 34 staff, okay? So it was able to pay them something by the close of 31st of July, 2018. And just about 6 of them refused to take what was being pushed on their throat. They were giving only 1 month's salary.
Both the leadership of ICU and the management of Consolidated Bank have arranged for another meeting next week to discuss the packages.
Now, the Teachers and Education Workers Union, TEWO, has cautioned the Ghana Education Service to halt the deduction of 10 cedis from teachers' salaries as insurance for their members. At a news conference in Accra, General Secretary Augustine Cabo implored the GES to conduct broader consultation before implementation of the deductions.
Ghana Education Service in July this year deducted 10 cedis from the salaries of its employees as insurance for them. Some of the teacher unions such as NAGRAT, NAT and the Coalition of Concerned Teachers raised concerns about lack of consultations. The 10 cedis deductions from their salary according to the GES will cover some ailments which its employees cannot pay for at the various hospitals. The Teachers and Education Workers Union, TEWO, has asked the GES to stop deducting the 10 cedis from their salary. The General Secretary, Augustine Cabo, said any further deductions should be done after next month.
We strongly protest against the government where they say it is not compulsory, but they want to put everybody on board and ask those who are not interested to opt out. It should rather be the reverse. They should make forms available for all those who are interested to roll onto this group life insurance and be part, so that those who are not interested, they don't even come into the picture at all.
The union was again concerned about delays in the release of their Tier 2 pension fund to be managed by their fund managers. It argued that the delay has affected its members who will be retiring next few months.
They go to MPRA, they go to Senate, and they refer them to the unions. Meanwhile, these monies are not with us. These are clear issues we want to bring to the public domain and urge that lest the government through MPRA release these funds to the union.
In another development, TEWU has asked the Ministry of Education to consider rolling out motivation packages for its members in the various public schools when the policy on the double tracking commences.
We are very much concerned that some heads of schools, regional and district directors, will always skew what is called staff motivation to favor the teachers, leaving the non-teaching staff. We strongly protest against such actions in the various schools, districts, and regions. Let's be fair to all manner of persons in the workplace and leave discrimination and disfavoring of others against others.
In some other news this evening, government is to lift the ban on illegal small-scale mining very soon at a forum in Accra. The Minister of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boateng, presented a roadmap saying the checklist to guide the decision by government to lift the ban on small-scale mining would include the removal of all earth-removing mining equipment within the district to designated areas to be announced next week. Highlights of the roadmap developed includes stopping the operational activity of large-scale mining, companies that have flouted laid-down regulations, halting the activities of prospecting companies engaged in bulk sampling and processing, as well as withdrawing all military and paramilitary personnel from concessions of large-scale mining, companies that have gone contrary to laid-down regulations, sensitization and educational tours of mining communities. Others are establishing the quality of water bodies, vetting and verifying licenses of all small-scale mining companies, registering and installing tracking devices on earth-moving equipment, and lifting the ban on small-scale mining and publishing the list of successfully vetted small-scale miners. Although the roadmap revealed does not state the specific time that the ban will be lifted, there are indications that it may happen before Christmas of this year. A 6-month moratorium was imposed on small-scale mining on April 1, 2017 to curb illegal mining and its negative impact on biodiversity and health.
What's to stay on illegal mining, and government has developed a software application as a means and a measure to fight illegal mining further. The software Galam Stop was announced at a news conference in Accra to outline the roadmap for lifting of the ban on artisanal and small-scale mining. Here's a report by Godfrey Tenam.
Man of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boateng, indicated that the software is created to consolidate activities of all regulatory bodies in the fight against illegal mining. Some of the mechanisms he said developed to check illegal mining after the lifting of the ban include the use of satellite imagery, drones and frequent visits to the mining concessions. He added the software will provide information on the machinery used for mining and assist law enforcers to deal with illegalities.
There are certain so-called large-scale mining companies, but they are not. They have large-scale concessions, but they are using small-scale methods to mine. And they are flouting a lot of our laws. And the minister will give directives as to what they are supposed to do. And we also want to stop what we call bulk sampling.
All paramilitary forces providing protection and mining concessions will be withdrawn to make way for only Operation Vanguard team to be on the ground. Miners with licenses will also be given special identification cards linked to the software to aid in accessing information. Registering and installing tracking devices on earth-moving equipment will also be conducted.
We want to know the number of excavators that we have in this country. Some say 5,000, others say 7,000. We don't know. But we want to know where they are and what they are doing, so we'll be able to track them. Every excavator will be moved to a particular area and to receive an electronic tracking device.
Before the lifting of the ban on mining activities, vetting and verification of small-scale mining companies will be conducted. Some small-scale miners expressed disappointment in the presentation of the roadmap.
The government is now going to issue us certificates or ID cards for us to, where I know GPRTU and other people, all these organizations give membership cards to their members. So I think government should be very focusing on policies, and then we can do also the interventions.
It is close to 2 years. You are telling us not to eat. Our houses, we have placed our houses as collateral. Now we came here, you are telling us you are going to write a letter to the banks. When does he become a consultant to the banks? When we were taking our loans, where was he? Was he an intermediate between the banks and us?
The minister hinted the ban will be lifted before the end of the year, stressing the date will soon be announced.
Authorities at the University of Ghana Medical Center say the center has only received 6 referral cases since it began operations a month ago. The authorities believe education about the concept for the hospital has not gone down very well with the public, as well as with other health facilities who refer cases for specialist attention. Here's a report by Sarah Parku.
The University of Ghana Medical Center was officially opened to the public on the 18th of July 2018 amidst controversy over who should manage the facility. It's a month since it began operations, so we are here to find out how it has been faring. The interim managers of the center explained that it is strictly for referral cases and not a walk-in facility. The administrative unit, the outpatient department, the laboratory, the pharmacy, as well as the clinical units of the center are currently fully operational with 2 ambulances to complement it. Operations commenced with the provision of free services for 2 weeks. But a month later, it can only boast of having received only 6 cases. Interim Director of Administration at the center, Fred Efayebua, explained that the facility is engaging stakeholders to ensure its operations are affordable.
We have also written to the National Health Insurance Authority to start engagement with them, whether they fit into what we do. We have also had some referrals. So far, about 6 of those referrals that needed diverse attention. Some of them initially we also had to refer.
He also revealed that plans are far advanced to register the facility as a private company for the sake of sustainability. This is in contrast to government's earlier directive with the intention to take over the administration of the hospital in the public interest.
The Interim Management Committee, the Ministry of Health, and the Attorney General's Department is working on the status of the facility. Eventually, this facility will run as a purely private company for the sake of sustainability. Said that there will be much seriousness in its management and its activities.
According to Efayebua, the only challenge the facility has had to deal with has been the lack of understanding about its concept.
As at now, it looks like the concept of referral has not caught on very well with some of the facilities that are referring. And so we are taking that one up as a special project.
Meanwhile, the Interim Management Committee is hopeful both Phase 1 and 2 of the hospital should be fully operational in the next 6 months.
Now, a tragedy hit a group of beauty contestants when a strong wave washed them out to sea while they were taking a photo shoot at the Oasis Beach in Cape Coast Thursday evening, leading to the death of one of them. One of the ladies is still missing, while two of them and a gentleman are on admission at the Cape Coast Metropolitan Hospital. The deceased and the missing lady, whose names were given as Sarah Kwarting of the University of Education, Mampong Campus, and Lily Ampofua Esiru of the University of Ghana, Legon. The body of the deceased has been deposited at the University of Cape Coast Hospital morgue. The Director of Public Affairs at the University of Cape Coast, Major Retired Ba Bentum, said the ladies who were participating in the Face of University Student Association of Ghana, that's USAC, Face of USAC, were part of a group of students who were attending the annual Congress of the University Students Association of Ghana, USAC, at the University of Cape Coast. According to him, the tragedy hit when a wave swept them off the rocks they stood on for a photo shoot.
We'll bring you some more on that particular development there subsequently. In some other news, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, says government will roll out new initiatives to strengthen ties and cooperation with other sister countries in the areas of security. Part of the arrangement, according to the Vice President, will be to check terrorism and improve upon military discipline between the countries. He was speaking at the joint graduation ceremony of the Senior Division Course 39 and Masters in Defense and International Politics in Accra.
9 officers participated in 2017-2018 academic course 39. They undertook courses in defense, conflict and crisis management, as well as counter-terrorism. Out of the 58 students who participated in the course, 20 were drawn from other neighboring countries. They were awarded master's degree in defense and international politics. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who was the guest speaker, reiterated government's support for the Ghana Armed Forces Staff College. He encouraged the officers in uniform to assist government in enhancing collaboration with sister countries in the areas of security.
It is very important when we look at the broader issue of security forces in general that we maintain very good cooperation amongst the forces. In Ghana here, for example, between the police and the military. I'm aware that the top hierarchies of the military and police are taking measures to enhance cooperation amongst them.
The commandant of the Ghana Armed Forces Staff College, Rear Admiral Seth Amwama, praised government for assisting them through the GET Fund to set up 54-unit hostel for officers.
Phase 1 of this 54-unit hostel, which comprises 18 suits, should have been completed last 2 years. However, challenges with release of allocated funds have resulted in the stalling of the project.
He again underscored the need to make judicious use of the 450 million cedi budgetary allocation earmarked for them. To increase support for the military, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, asked the Metropolitan and District Assemblies to support the work of government. Meanwhile, another batch of 30 officers, 14 of whom are from neighboring countries, are to enroll in the next program, which begins in September this year.
And let's get into our citizen journalist for tonight in an MTN video report.
Look at the way a teacher is suffering to school, carrying the bicycle.
It's Mr. Kakpo with his bicycle.
And that's Mr. Roger making call whilst walking. You see, yes. Look how he's suffering. Yes.
Look at how he has hung up his trousers.
This is North Town District. Niflapo precisely.
Mr. Yes. Kate is at the far back.
Just look at Mr. Kate coming. Look at the way he's suffering. With his bike, barefooted.
Oh, it's a pity.
Look at the pool he's about to cross. Seriously, sometimes you swim from the end to this place. We need to be applauded.
It's very stinky too. The water is very stinky, smelling. A whole trained teacher.
So that's clear situation on the North Tongue there, giving you that detail. We hope that whoever has to respond to this will do it swiftly. And you can also send us your MTN video report on 055-1433-044. That's on WhatsApp number 055-1433-044. You're still live here on NEWS360. We'll be back with some more news and business. To stay.
Welcome back to News 360. Now time for us to delve into some news from the world of business. We start off in the banking sector as government says liquidity support given to collapsed banks will be recovered despite some initial difficulty in identifying assets of the affected banks. Giving details of plans to support indigenous banks, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta said such support will be limited to indigenous banks that are well governed and managed in full compliance with the Bank of Ghana's regulatory requirements.
We will have to strengthen the local banks. I'm expecting that they themselves will be getting together for mergers and consolidations, and then we'll see how best we can support to make sure we have strong representation.
The finance minister further assured that the liquidity support given collapsed banks will be recovered.
A clarity for us as to how the gains we have made are going to be reversible, the way in which we generate revenue to support it, and how to really, in the end, get all of our citizens to own the future that we are talking about.
The assurance follows concerns that the funds, over 8 billion Ghana cedis, used in assisting the troubled banks may not be recovered. Government is said to have issued about 2.2 billion Ghana cedis bond to support GCB as a result of the liquidation of assets of UT and Capital banks, and some 5.7 billion Ghana cedis in the case of the 5 banks consolidated to form the Consolidated Bank.
Now, Tullow Ghana Limited has engaged the media on its decade-long contribution to Ghana's burgeoning oil and gas industry. Speaking at the event, the Director of External Affairs of Tullow Ghana, Cynthia Lumor, said Tullow is well positioned for additional exploration opportunities in Ghana and will participate in the upcoming bidding rounds for oil blocks.
The aim of the engagement was to update the media of its work in Ghana and provide information on the socio-economic benefits of its operations. Tullow Ghana's Director of External Affairs, Social Performance and Local Content, Cynthia Lumor, highlighted Tullow's work in Ghana from exploration to production, achievements and prospects in Ghana. She said Tullow, together with its partners, have invested approximately $15.6 billion in Ghana over the past decade, comprising of $2.5 billion in exploration and appraisal, $13.1 billion in development and production.
Pride in the fast track is not so much or just that we were able to bring first oil from exploration to first oil in 40 months, but that we were able to respond to that need of government. So at the time, Ghana needed the revenues, and we were able to do it because Ghana needed it.
She said Tullow's provision of up to 200 billion cubic feet of gas from the Jubilee field at no cost to drive power generation, training and capacity building for local oil and gas professionals is a sign of its commitment to the development of the country.
Saving my country $1.7 billion. I mean, that's money that can go into other investments for government that they don't need to pay the Jubilee partners. We've said that 200 billion cubic feet of Jubilee gas will go to government of Ghana for free.
She indicated that Tullow Ghana is keen to explore additional exploration opportunities given its experience of operating in Ghana for more than a decade.
Because this is an area that we've been working in for years, we know the area, we think there's, opportunity here, And so we are interested in the upcoming licensing rounds.
In some other business news with an entertainment twist, MTN Ghana has launched the 7th edition of its flagship musical reality show Hitmaker in Accra. The talent show is intended to discover and nurture the creative potential in up-and-coming Ghanaian music artists.
7 years ago, MTN Ghana launched the Hitmaker music reality show to discover, nurture and create opportunities for up-and-coming young musicians. Over the years, the show has seen the rise of budding talents who have shot to prominence. These hitmakers have made significant progress due to huge rewards, including recording contracts offered them. Acting marketing manager of MTN Ghana, Guido Supime, said this year's competition, dubbed Rule the Mic, would require interested participants to visit Google Play Store to download the MTN Hitmaker app to register and upload their songs.
We are happy to say that even those who were unable to win the ultimate prizes have successfully developed their careers through the training and exposure that the MTN Hitmaker gives them.
Winner of season 6 of the reality show, Frida Rhymes, encouraged upcoming artists to believe in themselves and work toward achieving their goal, and they just might make it as she did.
Believe in yourself and go for it, Charlotte. You know, when I was going for Hitmaker, I didn't believe I was going to win. But then when I went, I did the extra hard work and I pushed forward and I was able to win. So if you're out there, just believe in yourself and go for it.
Popular artist Kwame Eugene said he has greatly benefited from participating in season 5 of the reality show and encouraged upcoming artists to take advantage of the show and participate in it.
This year's MTN Hitmaker will be something really massive because all these guys have done their part and they've been a legacy lived already. So I have a feeling they should come and continue, so they have more tasks to go with. Yeah, but it'll be cool. So.
Registration is open for a period of 3 weeks, during which applications will be reviewed by renowned beatmakers who will shortlist weekly for the semi-final stage of the competition.
Certainly promises to be an exciting one there. And that's how we wrap up the business news on News360 this evening. Visit our website, it's 3news.com, for some more business stories. On to you, Alfred.
Thank you, Natalie, for business. The Public Accounts Committee has directed the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to take steps to refund excess money charged to some 575 people in Suhum. The collection officer at the Suhum office of the Birth and Death Registry was cited in the Auditor General's report for taking 50 cedis from the people for birth certificates instead of 20 cedis.
The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development and its agencies took turns to answer queries cited in the Auditor General's report. One of the issues was the overcharging of fees for acquiring birth certificates. According to the report, a collection officer at the Suhum office of the Birth and Death Registry was charging people over 50 cedis for a document that officially cost 20 cedis.
Having charged them so much, he decided to account for only 11,500 that would relate or to match with the 20 Ghana cedis, leaving the balance of the 30 cedis accumulating to 17,250 Ghana cedis.
They are not supposed to act as intermediaries for anybody. But then that money he took actually was supposed to have been paid to a commissioner for oaths so that he could get affidavits to support the applications that he had done. And I don't know how he entered into an agreement with the clients to leave those monies with him.
The acting director of Birth and Death Registry, Kingsley Asaridako, indicated the officer had been asked to refund the money, but the Deputy Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Obiamwa, wanted the money refunded to the people affected.
575 persons have been overcharged, and now the money has found its way into the consolidated fund. So naturally, such persons are entitled to the refund. Or probably we expect that they will make their claim for the state to then pay it to them. But if they are identified, I believe that even without claim, if they are identified, the state should refund it to them.
We are directing that the Ministry of Local Government take steps to locate those 575 people and then refund the money to them.
Other members thought that was not punitive enough.
You see, punishment is to deter you from doing it and also to let other people know not to do that.
Because if you steal a goat and you are sent to court, you are not asked to produce a goat or a loan. You'll be jailed. You'll be in prison. That's the punishment. The same way, you don't know if that 17,000 he put into interest-bearing account. Then now you ask him to refund the 17,000. He took the interest.
Meanwhile, the registrar says his outfit would be digitizing the operations to address some of these issues. The digitization, he believed, would reduce the human interference of processes. Currently, collection officers in some regions are reported to issue receipts to monies received after weeks of collection.
We have actually deployed a system where now they don't touch money.
Okay.
We are going to put the late registration forms like passport office has done in the bank or in the post office. You go and you pay what you are supposed to pay. You are given your receipt, you present your receipt, and we process your certificates for you.
Okay.
That is what is going to happen.
Other entities that appeared before the committee were the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Center, Local Government Services, and NCCE.
Students and alumni of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology today demonstrated to register their displeasure towards the University Authority on their plans to make the Katanga Hall of the university a mixed hall. Our Ashanti Regional Correspondent Beatrice Pio Gabra has more in the following report.
If you want to increase female population on campus, then automatically all you have to do is increase infrastructure. That is the best thing to do. It can take time, even 10, 20 years. It is still ours. It is still for K University. And as alumni, since we are on the board of the University Council, we have a say. We are stakeholders. I'm a past student. If I should do anything contrary to the rules of K University, even as I'm an old student, my certificate can be taken from me. So if these same things are happening there in the school where I take pride in, the hall that I take so much prestige, that I attach myself to, you say you're trying to make it female, please, it is not here and there. He should come back again.
Why don't you put up more traditional halls? Why when KNSC, I was in KNSC when the HFC hall was put up. Within a year we had a HFC mall. We had a mall on the university campus. Why can't you put up halls? The mall is bigger than even a traditional hall. Why didn't they partner with KFC to put up a hall? We are very angry at this decision.
That is one of the students of Unity Hall who is saying that if the school authorities do not heed to their plea for the male hall to remain a male hall and they try to bring ladies to join them, they would advise themselves. Beatrice Piogabra, TV.
It appears to be a done deal for the university authorities, but we'll see how these protests end. But President Akufo-Addo says the late senior minister and veteran politician Joseph Henry Mensah's attachment to democratic values was profound. In a personal eulogy at his funeral and burial service, the president described the late statesman as a mentor and one of the greatest servants of the Ghanaian people.
J.H. Mensah served in various ministerial positions under different governments as a leading economist. A seasoned politician in Ghana, his political career dated back to the 1960s when he was in charge of planning in Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's government. For a very long time, from Professor Kofi Abrefa-Buzier's regime to January 6, 2009, J.H. Mensah was the representative of the people of Sunyani in Parliament. Preaching the sermon, the Metropolitan Archbishop of Cape Coast, Reverend Father Charles Gabriel Palmer-Bakel, charged Ghanaians to desist from wasting time and resources on funerals and the dead, but rather the living.
Let us all do well and do everything we can to bury our loved ones within 1 week or 2 weeks of their death. Lying interminably in the mortuary in that cold is not very pleasant for any soul that wants to be off to go to God. I believe we are wasting too much time. We are wasting too much money, and we are wasting too much resource on burials and funerals in Ghana.
Tributes were read by family and children. Senior Minister Yaosafo Mafo, who read the tribute on behalf of government, described the late statesman as a deeply loyal citizen. President Akufo-Addo said the former Sunyani MP was an embodiment of virtue and qualities that built a nation.
He became unabashedly my mentor. I enjoyed his company enormously. The brilliant intellect, the impish sense of humor, the urbane, civilized personality, and above all, the deep love of the Ghanaian people and their history, and the dogged faith in their capacity to build a progressive civilization, the equal of any on the face of the planet.
The veteran politician was finally laid to rest at the Bema Camp Military Cemetery in Accra. He is survived by 6 children, a brother, 4 sisters, 10 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren.
In the tomb.
Well, certainly a great man indeed. And I'm sure that, as the minority leader said, Parliament is still waiting and hoping to get one of its kind.
Certainly so. May his soul rest in perfect peace. You're still live here on News 360. We've got some sports news coming up shortly. Stay with us. Welcome back to News 360. On the international front this evening, Mali's President Ibrahim Keita has won Sunday's heavily disputed runoff election with 67.17% of the vote. That's according to official results. Opposition candidate Soumaila Sisi, who won 32.83% of the vote, said on Monday that he would reject the result. He believed the vote was marred by fraud. He said, quote, "I call on all Malians who rise up. We will not accept the dictatorship of fraud," unquote. The internet could not be accessed via mobile phone networks in the capital, Bamako, ahead of the announcement of the official results. You can visit our website, it's 3news.com, for some more international news. Coming up next on News 360 is Entertainment with Miriam.
Hello there, it's time to do some entertainment news tonight on News 360. Starting with the movies. Panelists at the Black Star International Film Festival are advising filmmakers to seek extensive knowledge about the market before filming. They say a broader consultation with stakeholders is necessary to avoid financial losses.
Filmmakers, upon completion of their projects, often find it difficult to sell and recoup their investments. They find the market unfriendly or encounter issues with branding, distribution and airtime management. Ghanaian filmmaker Shirley Frimpong Manso asked filmmakers to pay attention to the fine print of contracts they sign with distributors.
If your distributors are not interested in your movie, that's the beginning of the end. Filmmakers are making this mistake over and over again, and unfortunately I have come across a lot of people who have finished making their movie and they come to you and they said, "I need help to market it," and at this point I'm telling you that it's too late.
Rosanna George from Silverbird explained the need for filmmakers to speak with marketers and television stations to get market insights even before scripting. She said it is necessary for film to follow the laws of market jurisdiction while being commercially viable.
The filmmakers will never come to you just before they start up. They come to you 2 weeks or 3 months after they finish production, and in the next 2 months they want to find their movie in the cinemas.
It doesn't work that way. So what happened 2 years ago at your concept level? At your concept level is where you should begin to engage distribution. Every producer holds dearly his work and he thinks it's the next best thing. So it's left for the market to consider if your movie or if your content is the next best thing. So that's where the business acumen needs to come in.
TV3 was also present to give insight into viewer preferences, marketable content and airtime. Occurring annually in August, the Black Star International Film Festival aims to bridge the gap between Ghanaian and African cinema and the world. It creates a platform where filmmakers can learn, network, do business and celebrate their craft within an African context.
Now, away from film, NEWS, a subsidiary of Media General Group, is all geared up for the maiden edition of the rap show Akasemu. The show, which promises to be exciting, will be hosted by Ace radio personality Isaac Duncan Williams, popularly known as Dr. Duncan.
Bring the stardom out of you.
After years of absence from the radio scene, Isaac Duncan Williams, known in show business as Dr. Duncan, one of Ghana's pioneer presenters of rap shows on radio, is back with what he is known best for, hosting a rap show. Dr. Duncan's show helped discover amazing talents like D-Crime, Stage A, Kwalkese, Bandana, now Shatawale, and Ghana's rap king, Sarkodie. Duncan was the first to have signed Sarkodie on his Dunkwills Entertainment record label to release his maiden album Mache. After his stint with Adom FM and XFM, Dr. Duncan has been off radio, and the void he left has since not been filled. Dr. Duncan will be hosting the maiden edition of what promises to be the hottest rap show on radio, Akasemu, on Onia FM 95.1, premiering this Saturday, 18th August. Akasemu, meaning the mic, is a rap show that is designed to unearth and develop music talent.
Of course, like you always know, we bless the microphone. When we come on air, the youth get excited. So we've got amazing stuff coming your way. All you need to do is to tune in to 95.1 Akasemu and just check it out, because we've got surprises for you. We've got real superstars, raw talents coming through.
Akasemu will be aired at 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Saturday. Stay tuned as Dr. Duncan puts rappers to test as he brings the best out of them.
Shout out to TM Boys, I got love for you. For now you entertain me, so I stay loyal.
And that's the show I'm looking forward to. Now it's time to see how Tilapia captures the events of the week. Well, that's about it for entertainment news tonight. Don't forget to catch Akasemu with Dr. Duncan tomorrow on Onia 95.1. My name is Miriam Osei Ajman. Do have a great weekend.
Yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to that particular program as well, really. And you should be looking forward to signing some of us. I've been rapping for quite a while now.
Well, not sure about that, but it's all good.
You don't believe me. On behalf of the rest of the team, I want to say thank you. And tomorrow in the evening on 95.1 FM is the dial you should be listening to. My name is Alfred Okansi.
I'm Natalie Ford. Visit our website. It's 3news.com for some more news. Thanks so much for watching and have a lovely evening.
You don't believe me.